Hello guys, welcome back again with me. In this video, I will give some presentation about the network system administration. In the previous video, I was giving some presentation and practice about the introduction of virtual machine. And for now, I will explain and practice about the virtual machine on VirtualBox. So let's go to the presentation. In the chapter 2, which is virtual machine on VirtualBox, I will explain and practice about the basic tools on VirtualBox, which is clone, snapshot, export, and import, and I will do the practice of installation and the configuration on Ubuntu server on VirtualBox. For the first tool, there is clone and snapshot. Clone in VirtualBox, clone means to create an identical copy of an existing virtual machine, and it brings all the configuration, operating system, software, and data into the new virtual machine. So for the conclusion, it has a function to make the exact same of the virtual machine with the exact of the configuration, operating system or software, or the data into the new virtual machine. And then the other one, there is snapshot tools, which is in the VirtualBox. It is a copy of the state of a virtual machine at a specific point, and this allows you to return to that state in case if there's some problem. So for the conclusion, it has a function to back up the previous configuration. So if there's any problem when you do the new configuration and you want to use the previous configuration, you can just use the snapshot tools to get back to the previous configuration. And the next tools, there is export and import. For the export in VirtualBox, export is to produce a complete copy of the virtual machine in the form of an archive, and this allows sharing or importing the virtual machine to the another computer. So for example, if you make some virtual machine in your laptop and your friends wants the exact same of the virtual machine that you already configure, you can use the export tools in here. And for the import in VirtualBox, import is to retrieve a virtual machine from a previously exported archive, and the file is .ovi. And next, I will do the practice of the installation of Ubuntu server on VirtualBox, and I will do the configuration Ubuntu server on the VirtualBox. So first, if you want to make a new virtual machine of the Ubuntu server, you must have a file of the ISO of the Ubuntu server. To download it, you can go to the Chrome, and then you can search Ubuntu server ISO, and you can search down this one, then you can click it, and then you can install the server, install image. You can click download in here. You can just click it because I already download the file. I will not download it again. To make the new virtual machine in here, you can open the VirtualBox, then click new, and for the name I will give the Ubuntu server, and in here it will automatically get configured with the type of Linux, and the subtype is Ubuntu. And for the hardware, I will set it by default, and the hard disk I will set it by default again, and then you can just click finish. And in here you can go to settings, and then you can scroll down a little bit, and then in here the controller IDE, you can click the empty one, and in here you can click the disk in here and choose a disk file, and you can search the Ubuntu server file that you already download, and you can just click open and then OK, and now you can just click start. And we can wait for the Ubuntu server until it's get boot. Maybe it will take some time. And in here I already got into the configuration menu, and in here I will choose the English language, and you can just click enter, and then in here there is the installer update available, which is the information that there is a new of Ubuntu server, but in here I will not update the installer, and you can just click the continue without updating. And in here the keyboard layout, I will choose the default, and this one there is network connection, and it will get set by DHCP or automatically. You can click done, and for the proxy address you can just fill blank because maybe later I will do the configuration. And for the mirror address, you can just by default. And in here there is the information if you want to use an entire disk, and in here I will just use it by default, and you can just click down, and in here there is the information, and you can just click down, then continue. And in here for the name of the server, I will fill it with Ubuntu, and for the server name I will fill it with the Ubuntu server, and for the user I will use the AGI, and for the password I will fill it with this. And I will confirm the password, and you can just click down. The password doesn't match, and you can just click done. And in here there is open SSH, which is it has a function to remote our server. You can just click it yes because I want to install it, and you can click done. And then there is an application that you can install, but for now I will not install it. You can just click done, then we can wait until the installation is success. So for the information in here is not detailed. If you want to search it by detail, you can go to the view full log, and then you can click enter. And in here there is an information that show detail about the information of the installing process. And in here I will just skip it because it will take so much time. And after it shows like this, which is after it shows reboot now, that means the installation is complete. You can click the reboot now. And we can wait for it until it's finished. After it shows like this, you can log in into your account. And as you can see that I already successful to log in into my Ubuntu server. And now we have one virtual machine on my VirtualBox, which is the Ubuntu server virtual machine. And now I will practice the clone feature or the clone tools in the VirtualBox. But before I practice the clone feature, I should close the virtual machine first. So to close it, you can click in here, and then there is some information which is save the machine state, send the shutdown signal, or the power off the machine. So for the save the machine state, it will save the state as the state that we last opened. And I will practice this first, and then you can click OK, and we can wait for it. And as you can see in here, the information it is saved. That means the state in here is already saved. When we open it again, it will not do the booting again, and it will go to the state that the previous state, and it will not doing the booting again, and we can wait for it. And as you can see, the state in here, it is the same like the previous state. And then you have and then there is the order feature, which is send the shutdown signal. It is the same like the turn off on the Windows, but in here, because the Linux is based on command prompt, it is based on text, so usually you can use whole. But because in the VBox there's a feature named send the shutdown signal, you can just click it, and it will shut down the virtual machine. And as you can see, it is got shut down. And in here there is an information which is powered off. When we start it again, it will do the booting, and maybe it will take some time, and we can wait for it again. And for the information, for the previous step, which is when you turn on it again, when you use the save the machine stat in here, which is this, you will not need to log in again. But because I use the send the shutdown signal, you must log in into your user again in the Ubuntu server, and we can wait for the booting in here. Maybe it will take some time. And as you can see in here, Yeah, we must log in again. For the password is for the user is Agi, and for the password is this. And as you can see, it is successful. And you can do the clear, so the text in here, there is no text again or clear in here. And then there is power off the machine. It is the same like the send the shutdown signal, but it will force the virtual machine to get shut down. Maybe I will try it again. And as you can see, it is suddenly got shut down. And then you can click start again. And it is the same like the send the shutdown signal, and it will do the booting again. And you must log in into the user that in the Ubuntu server on your VirtualBox. And we can wait for it. And as you can see, after the booting session, you must log in into your user again. And as you can see, it is successful. And now I will shut down it again. And okay. And now, because the virtual machine of the Ubuntu server is already got shut down, and I will practice the clone tool. So to use the clone feature, you can right click the Ubuntu server, and then there is clone. And in here for the name, you can set it by as you want. And the clone type, it is full clone. And for the MAC address size, you can by default and then finish. And maybe it will take a time. And for your information, the clone feature have a function to duplicate the virtual machine that already in there. So for example, if you need to server, and if you don't want to spend your time to make the same virtual machine with the same configuration, you can use the feature of clone tools. And as you can see, it is successful. And then you can just start it. And for the clone of the Ubuntu server, it should be have the same configuration with the first one, which is the Ubuntu server. For like the user, password, configuration, it will has the same as the first Ubuntu, which is the one that I duplicated. But for your information, this virtual machine, it is the same, but it has the same configuration, user, password, or etc. But it has different, which is when you open this server, which is the Ubuntu server. For example, this is the one, and this is the Ubuntu Server 2. The difference is you have two virtual machines that it has the same user, password, and then the configuration, but it is on different virtual machine. Maybe you will understand what I'm saying, but if you don't understand with what I'm saying, sorry. Now we'll open it in here. And now for the user and password, because I'm on this Ubuntu server, it should be have same password and the same user as this server. For the user it is Agi, and for the password is this. And as you can see, it is successful. So that means the user and the password, it is the same like the Ubuntu server. And next I will do the practice of snapshot feature, and it has the same function like we back up the state that in here, and we can use, for example, the ls command, which is in here there is not show any information, so that means I still not add any file in here, so we can shut down it again and okay. And we can open the Ubuntu server in here, then there is, sorry, you can click this one, then there is snapshot, and then you can click take. For the snapshot name I will do default, right? Default setting, then okay. And next I will try to start it again. And in here I will log in into my user. Sorry, again, and the password is this, and then I will clear the virtual machine, and in here, sorry, I will type ls. So for the ls command, it is a command to see our file directory, because it is still not any directory, or in here there's I haven't set the directory. In here they will not showing anything, and we can add something, some directory, as if I already setting this virtual machine. So to add the new directory, you can click type touch, and then so for the touch feature in Linux, it has a function to make a file without any information in it. And for example, I will type touch and then a.txt, b.txt, c.txt. Then you can click enter, and after you enter it, you can type it again ls, and as you can see, there is showing some directory which is a.txt, then b.txt, and then c.txt, and we can shut down it again and then OK. So you can remember that I already add a new directory in here, but I will try to make this virtual machine go back to the previous setting. Maybe, for example, that file, if that file is a problem in the configuration on your virtual machine and you want to go back to the configuration before the problem begins, you can use the snapshot feature. And in here I will try to use the snapshot feature. I will try to restore and then sorry, I think here restore again. Sorry, here I will restore and then restore again, and now we can try to start it again. And in here I will log in again to my user. I will clear it and I will try to use ls command. And you can remember that I already add a new directory which is a.txt, b.txt, c.txt before, and now it is disappear because I'm using the snapshot feature. And for some explanation, in here the default setting, in here it is like a backup file that in the previous session, which is in here. In this session I have not add the directory which is a.txt, b.txt, and etc. So when I add a new directory and then I use the snapshot feature, it will go back to the session that I save on my snapshot feature. And as you can see, it is disappear for the a.txt file. So the snapshot feature, it is successful. And now I will try to practice the export feature. So for the export feature, have a function to send the virtual machine to your friends or your other PC or laptop. Or if you want to make a virtual machine server at your home, but you want to use it at school, so you can make the virtual machine server at home, like making the virtual machine and then make the configuration and etc. And you can import it and use it at the school. And I will try to configure this one, Ubuntu server. So to use the export feature, you can go to file and then there is export appliance, and you can select the virtual machine that you want to export. For the format settings, I will set it by default, but for the file I will move it into download and then save. And for the etc. I will just by default. Then you can click finish. And we can wait for it until in here 100%. So the export feature, it is the same like the clone feature, but it has a different. For the clone feature, it is copying the virtual machine in one place. For example, you copying this virtual machine in to in this laptop. But for the export feature, it is like you copying the server, but you move it into the other laptop. So this one is laptop 1, and then you export it into laptop 2, which is your laptop friend. So the difference is just the place that we are copying to. And we can wait for it until in here says 100%. And now for the export feature, it is already successful, and as you can see there's Ubuntu server.obj. And now I will try to import it into my VirtualBox, and you can click it, and in here I will right click and then open with VirtualBox Manager. And actually you can open it with other virtual machine like VMware or etc. But in this video I will practice it with the VirtualBox first. And you can go to in here, and then for the setting, and then for the name, in here I will set it by default, and actually you can change it with anything you want, but I will set it by default, and you can just click finish. And in here it will do the importing of things, and you can wait for it. And for the implementation in real life, if you want to import it, you can just copy it to your friends or in at your school or office, and you can just double click it and then open it in the VirtualBox Manager, and we can wait for it. And as you can see, in here there is Ubuntu Server 1, which is the practice that I do when I import when I import this Ubuntu server.obj. So that is for the import tools in the VirtualBox. So that is my video. Sorry if there are any mistake or misunderstanding. If you don't understand it while I'm saying or in my practice, you can just type it in the comment, and I will answer your question. See you next time, guys. Bye bye.